here with another edition of No BS Reactions. Thanks for joining me. Time for me to expand my own personal boundaries a little bit. So today, I am both catching up after a bit of an extended absence, plus I'm going to delve a little further into Amorphis, the catalog of Amorphis. Trying to make that plural or possessive is just screwy. But as I work my way through them chronologically, plus I'm actually correcting a screw up here. You wouldn't have known it, but I should have had a reaction to another of their songs a couple weeks back, but suffice to say I fucked that up. So screwed up the recording totally. So rather than redo a reaction which would then no longer be genuine, I just figured, you know what? I'm going to come back today with a different song, and that song is My Kantele. So this is actually going to be a bit of a special make-good edition, because what I'm doing today is something a little special. This time around, it's going to be, I'll react first to the album version, and then the acoustic reprise version. So yep, there are two versions of this song by them, and this is going to be my first reaction twofer. Maybe the first of its kind anywhere. I don't know. I'm not keeping track. You guys might know. Anyway, this one, the original version, comes from their 1996 album Elegy, and the acoustic version then will come from their 97 EP of the same title. Interesting to note, fun fact, My Kantele, yeah, I don't speak Finnish, leave me alone, is apparently a traditional Finnish song from an 1840 collection called the Kanteletar. There we go. These recordings, though, are the most played songs on this album and EP, respectively, on Spotify, so sure. Makes sense. Apparently they're popular, so might as well go with it, right? So, as I'm getting started here, let me just quick reminder, please like and subscribe if you get a chance and you wouldn't mind. Don't forget to check out my all-prog station, The Expanse, on Live 365 as well. All right, so here we go with Amorphis, My Kantele, part one of this twofer. Buckle up. Interesting. This is a little bit of a different sound than I heard from them last song I did, which I believe was from their first album. Much more mellow. Definitely not what I would call metal at this moment. Now, they may build up to it. It's giving me at the moment, honestly, a little bit of vibe of some early Metallica mellow stuff, at least partly mellow stuff, such as Fade to Black, with the kind of, I would say they're probably minor chords in the guitar, or at the very least, what they're playing is not upbeat, but more kind of downbeat, subdued, but I like it. I dig the vibe. And the roughness in the vocals, even though they're singing against acoustic guitars, there's still a bit of this metal roughness to it that, again, makes me think of early James Hetfield with Fade to Black in particular. So that in mind too, it makes me wonder, is this going to shift into a higher gear at some point in time, similar to that, where we're going to go from this comparatively mellow, although kind of dour sound, into something that's a lot heavier and a little bit more, the only word I can think of is rough right now. It's not the word I want, but something a little faster, a little more metallic. We'll see. But I like it. It's pretty cool tune. And it's got, again, that kind of underlying anger or melancholy, or combined anger and melancholy, that you would get with metal, especially. Again, I keep going back to Fade to Black. It's just really what it's put me in mind of. So I'll find out if I'm right later, but I'm liking this so far. And again, we've got all these themes of Finnish or Scandinavian mythology, and they're referencing gods, making the Kantele, and things like that. So that's kind of cool. I like that they sort of go with that thematically, and that does seem, from what I've heard of them, pretty common with them, that they go with mythological themes. So it's really kind of cool in that sense. I don't know a lot of Finnish mythology. I know a little bit of Scandinavian, but that's, admittedly mostly Norse, and probably gotten mostly from Marvel Comics. I'm sorry, Norway. I'm a geek, and it's what it is. Anyway, continuing. Let's get back. All right, I gotta say, one, I forgot to mention that one of the parts I was liking about this, there's the acoustic guitar, and the part that does not remind me of Metallica was the fact that there was this kind of, I'm going to say it's a Hammond organ, I think. Don't hold me to that. I don't know all this stuff all the time, but it's definitely a Hammond organ sound that it sounds like to me in the background. I like that. It sort of brings this extra little 70s undercurrent to, again, the 80s melancholic mellow metal. There's some alliteration for you. So I like that. Totally caught me by surprise when they pulled out a frickin' accordion. What the hell? Where did that come from? It sounded great in there, but it's totally not what I expected. I first heard it and I thought I was hearing something else, and I questioned. I had lyrics up over the video, so I couldn't see it. I had to move the lyrics. I went, yeah, that's an accordion. Did not see that coming. I think the caption on one of my other videos of theirs was, they zigged when I thought they would zag, or something like that. Well, this time they zagged when I had no thoughts of being any zigging or zagging going on. They completely hit me out of the blue with that. So cool surprise there. All right, back to the music. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. You know what? I dug that. I really enjoyed that a good bit. That was, didn't really get rough, didn't go metallic on us. It kept with the acoustics, but then they brought in what I presume was the Kantele of the song, which was a cool sounding instrument. It reminds me a little bit of a sitar or something like that, but it's played a bit differently, so that the tones aren't quite the same. But I liked it, and I think they picked up the tempo there towards the end, because I mean, overall, although they were cycling through basically the same chord progression throughout the song, it's a nice chord progression. I like it. It maybe stretched it out a little longer than might have been necessary for my feeling. Like, you could have probably edited that down to by about another minute, and it still would have been awesome. But I enjoyed that. And, that's the thing I could throw on a playlist there. And I imagine there's a real good chance that's a nice change of pace on an album that's otherwise probably pretty heavy, probably pretty metallic in content. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but, that's just a hunch because I've not listened to the rest of the album. I'm basically taking a song every couple of albums up through their chronology till I get to something more modern, mostly because realistically, I'm not going to have the time to do a video for every single album of theirs, but hey, you never know. See how long this all goes. I might get back to some of it. But yeah, I dug that. Pretty cool tune. And I'm surprised to hear it's something traditional. Go figure, hey, some of those folks back in the 1800s wrote some cool stuff, if that's where that came from. I'm not clear at this point in time whether it's theirs or really honestly a traditional song, but if it's a traditional song, hey, those Finns rocked pretty good back in the 1800s, or that was an 1800s collection, so the song could be older than that. I didn't do that much research. You got the research you're going to get out of me on this one. I looked up the album. That's about it. All right. So I said this is going to be a two-parter. So we're now going to get to the acoustic reprise, or reprise, if you like. I've heard it pronounced both ways, and I've never cared enough to look up which is exactly right. So, c'est la vie. Anyway, all right, let's listen to the acoustic version, see how that goes. Yes, I forgot to switch the screen. Shut up. Don't judge me. Figured it out along the line. It's all right. I don't know. Is it me? Or does this sound like the same recording? That's the downside of not listening to it in advance, so you can do an honest to goodness reaction. I'm not sure I'm hearing something different. Maybe subtle differences in the mix. I don't know. You tell me. What are you all hearing? Yeah, and I never thought of the Hammond organ as acoustic, but okay, sure. Continuing. Okay, if you're curious where I was going right there, I was busy doing a little research. One, because they pulled out the accordion. Let me finish this thought. I'll get back. They pulled out the accordion, and I'm sitting there thinking, is an accordion an acoustic instrument? I looked it up. Yes, technically speaking, an older accordion is an acoustic instrument. It's a reed instrument. Things I did not know. Maybe things you didn't know. We both learned it together now. Hammond organ is also, I guess, at least partly acoustic and partly electric, and it kind of combines some things. Again, something I never thought to look up. I just always kind of assumed and thought of them as electric instruments, but I guess they are partly acoustic as well. So, things we learn, fun facts, picking up some things. So, again, just checking because, again, acoustic reprise or reprise, and largely it sounds to my ear, listening to both of them the first time, kind of identical, maybe. I will say the mix in my ear sounds a little different. I feel like the Hammond organ was brought up a little bit more, and the two acoustic guitars, a little more separation between them. They're also kind of brought up a little bit in the mix, but separated a little better, so that the awareness spatially of them is more pronounced than what I thought I heard the first time around. I could be totally imagining this stuff. I don't know. Again, I'd be curious what the rest of you are hearing and what your thoughts are on this. Because, again, I listening even to them back to back, I'm hearing nearly the same thing, but it's also the first time I'm hearing either of them. So maybe if I'd heard one version over and over and over and over again, and then heard another version, I might pick up the differences more easily. So some of you out there will probably know the answer to this. I will rely on you to explain and elucidate in the comments section, if you could. Anyway, let's continue. Enter the Kantele. That's a cool sound, though. Interesting. Very cool, though. I like the song. It's a really nice tune. It's a really cool song. I wouldn't call them riffs, chord progressions, I guess is the best way I could think of it. It gets a little repetitive towards the end. For me, I like it. I dig it. And there's a certain point where, okay, guys, you probably could have wrapped this up at least a couple of measures ago, and that would have been fine. A little bit of editing. I know I may be committing sacrilege here for the Amorphis fans out there. Forgive me. Clearly, this is a very popular song for them. I mean, it's again, I picked it off the album based on really the amount of Spotify listens. I figured that's a good gauge as to what is most popular. And I expect that there's a reason why something might be most popular. It's maybe not always the best, but when I'm going in blind and I don't know what to pick, I got my choice to pick between titles or to pick between what's most popular. That's what I went with for this little bit of exploration. And so this one is but it's a really cool, I'm sure, change of pace, I think, in my early explorations of Amorphis within their repertoire. The first thing I heard from them was very symphonic, I think, in nature. And then what I heard after that from, I forget the album now, but I can't think of the song either, but it doesn't matter because it's recorded somewhere. You can find it. If you haven't listened to my other Amorphis reactions, go hunt them down. But the second song is one that was definitely heavier and leaned more into maybe a death metal or black metal or something like that. And, rough, harsh vocals and all that. So this is like very much a change of pace compared to either of those. So it does meet their reputation from what I'd read of being a band that has done a lot of evolving over the years and has had a lot of different genre labels applied to their music, from progressive metal to black metal to death metal to symphonic metal to folk metal. That's a thing if you haven't heard of that before. And maybe this fits in that a little bit, especially if it's actually a traditional Finnish song. Definitely folk. I wouldn't call it metal, and that's cool. I have no problem with that. It's maybe very mellow acoustic metal, but I don't hear something that I would, if this was the only thing of theirs I heard, I'd go, ooh, that's metal. But I like it. I do enjoy it. I like it. That is playlist worthy for me. Playlist worthy. Anyway, that's what I've got for you. Let me know your thoughts and descriptions. Educate me, expound upon the history of this song and or Amorphis and their relationship with it as part of their repertoire. It's not common that you hear a band who has a traditional song that maybe is one of their most popular on an album, much less a metal band doing that. That's new to me, so kudos to them on that. Maybe that speaks a lot to their fans. It's just not something I've heard done before. Maybe some of you have heard that. Don't know, but that's all I got for you on this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe when you get a chance, if you could. And that's all I've got for you at this point. This is Super Dave, reminding you to never be afraid to deviate from the norm. Keep it proggy. And this is Super Dave, signing off.